and Ayurveda became the forefront of it. So yes, this chemistry drug shook my system back to normality, but after that, it taught me how to maintain was Ayurveda. So like, you tell us what you want, you the customer are at the forefront of everything, and we'll go out and make it. Yeah. And I think it's also just, when you live so much of your life online, where do you draw the line? Like, I do not want to share everything, but sometimes your audience demands you to share everything. So it's a bit like, no, but I'm not ready to share that part of me yet. Our first campaign in 2019, I think it was now. Yeah, 2019, was with UNICEF India, and there was this incredible woman in their team who somehow was like, you know what? I'll try you guys. Let's do it.
So excited, and so excited to talk about Diipa, the businesswoman, Diipa, the influencer. Avan introduced you. So let's get right to it. I want to start by asking you firstly about your entrepreneurial journey. You know, at heart, you're a Punjabi kudi. Even living in Amsterdam, we see we see you sticking to your roots. So how does your inner Punjabi kudi guide you in your journey? You started the brand, your influencing style.
Yeah. I guess what you mean by Punjabi kudi is that our parents raised us to be entrepreneurs, right? Yeah, but that was 100% true in my case. I don't know if you guys know, but born in Delhi. But when I was very young, I went to school in Uti, international school. And then at 17, to go to university, I left and then kind of stayed in that part of the world until 2 weeks ago, when we made Bombay our second home now. So very happy to be back home after so many years. But growing up, yes, very Punjabi family. My dad was from the army. Mom was Punjabi but grew up in South India. So there was this combination of love for the entire country of India. It wasn't just like Punjabis are better than everyone else, anything like that. I think we had so much love and respect for where we come from. And also growing up in Uti, I speak Tamil as well.
Wow.
So I just really have a love for the whole country. But yes, my dad very much raised me to be like, you will grow up and have your own business. Like, that was the go-to. I didn't know how I was going to get there or what, but I think as a little girl, putting that inner confidence in her that she can do it one day, I think maybe is one of the reasons I'm here today. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with when you're a Punjabi child, the parents are like, you will grow up and have your own business.
And raise tough girls. In a Punjabi household, it's very rare to, be like, you are going to become only a certain category of what you think. Like at least my family really was like, you can become anything you want. Don't ever, don't ever take second spot for anything. So.
I'm sure there are many in here. Anyone else feel the same? Want to raise your hands and let us know? Okay, lovely. Okay, moving on to your newest venture, Inde, which we have at the back as well for people to discover, touch, feel, buy. How did you start this? How did you think of this? What prompted you to launch your conscious beauty line?
So I think I always say this. I think I was destined to build Inde because I grew up in a household where mom was a dermatologist and Ayurvedic doctor. So it was just normal to me, like waking up in the morning, meditating, doing yoga, and then mom making some kashayam in the kitchen and just like giving it to us, we were just normal. And then I think many years later, as a teenager, I had very bad acne. I think as a lot of us probably did. And it just became worse and worse. And then I was an adult. It just didn't go away. Like 21, 22, 23. I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm like, my mom is a dermatologist. Tell me. Or like, I'm like, Ayurveda, tell me. Siddha, tell me. Homeopathy. Everybody do something. And I tried everything. And I think therein lies the problem. I tried too much. Like every week, I would rip my skin's barrier and do a new thing, until eventually at the end, my mom, the dermatologist, was like, okay, stop. This has gotten way too far. And my, self-esteem took a plummet. It's like, what am I, like, I can't face the world anymore. This is too much.
And then finally, I did this very, very strong drug that maybe a few of you know as dermats, they'll recommend at the last phase, which is called Roaccutane. And it basically just like shifts your whole body back to gear. And that was very harsh. And my mom, being an Ayurvedic doctor at that point, was like, I really don't want to do this to you, but because you're so desperate, let's do it. But I think that started a new lease where I realized you need to live life very holistically. And Ayurveda became the forefront of it. So yes, this chemistry drug shook my system back to normality, but after that, it taught me how to maintain was Ayurveda. It's like, okay, now you're never gonna fall back here. And there was the aha moment of like, wait, Ayurveda is everything we love. Our moms and grandmoms have told us, like, the world is given yoga and meditation. There is this beauty science that we can give the world, but combined with chemistry as well. If the world's given us innovation and science, and the modern day Indian woman believes in both. Like, we believe in everything our moms and grandmoms tell us, 100%. Like, it stood the test of time for 5,000 years, but we're also the women of today. We're not our moms and grandmoms. We believe in facts and innovation and tech and science. So how is this way of combining them both together? So I came up with the word Ayurvestry, which is, basically a modern Indian woman, Ayurveda and chemistry. And we trademarked it and became the pioneers of this new skincare category, Ayurvestry.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Kudos. That's the whole...
And we're global already, which is insane to think. We're in the US, UK, Canada, and India, of course. So it's been a wild journey, and it's only been 15 months. So we're just getting started.
Awesome. So I was checking out the products earlier today, and I noticed that you, of course, write the scientific names of what's in them, but you also write it in simple terms like amla and haldi, turmeric.
Yeah.
So what's the idea behind that? And is that some sort of communication with your customer? Do you want to share some insight?
Yes. So I think as an influencer, I got sent so many brands and everything. And like, for me, the number one thing that struck me when we wanted to create Inde Wild was you need to democratize beauty. What I mean by that is, for many, many years until now, a few French men sitting in offices in Paris, L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, would tell you what beauty is. They would tell you, here's this mascara, use it, it'll make you beautiful.
Yeah.
With Inde Wild, we wanted to flip the script. We're like, you tell us what you want, you, the customer, are at the forefront of everything, and we'll go out and make it. So putting the customer and the community first and putting us almost secondary became that you need to equip them with the knowledge of what they're putting in their body.
Yeah.
Like, till today, if you go look at any beauty brand, like, I won't say we're the only one, but I think in the entire world, we might be very few that actually even state the percentages of every active ingredient in there. Because people might say, oh, we have, vitamin C or centella or gotu kola or whatever, any ingredient. Will they ever tell you how much percentage? No, because you as a customer then are like, as a marketing claim, if you have 0.01%, you can claim that ingredient. So you could literally put 0.01% and say, my serum is full of bakuchiol. You know what I mean? And so we were like, we're going to change that up. We're going to tell you what is in it and how much percentage, and say it in layman's terms. Because legally, you're meant to write the inky term, which is the chemical name. But who knows that vitamin E is actually tocopherol? Like, maybe a few chemistry students here, but the rest of us do not. So we were like, no, we're going to put it in layman's terms. We're going to give you the percentage because you are in the power, and we're going to provide that to you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you, this is a question, I think a lot of people here are small business and mid-sized business owners and have brands that we're constantly looking, like our session before this was on WhatsApp, we're constantly looking for ways to promote ourselves in the best budget, in the best way, and also standing out from the rest. I feel every industry is so crowded, and especially skincare. Let's start with skincare. I'm sure, like you said, you used to get PR packages. 50% may have been skincare and creams and oils. And how are you planning a strategy to stand out, to be different? It's already a crowded industry. So what's Diipa doing that's different?
I think what I said earlier, putting truly putting our customer at the forefront and making it a community brand where you feel like, your problems and your needs are catered to. I think that's number one. Number two was building a global Ayurvedic brand. So I think there's a lot of incredible brands in India, but also building it for the young generation, like the next generation. I feel like a lot of the youth, go more towards chemistry brands because they resonate with them, like whether it's The Ordinary or other brands like that. They feel like it's for me, it's young, it's cool. But to truly create a brand that does have our heritage and our culture, but is still fresh and cool and young, I think is the second reason. Hopefully we stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. So you did mention about Ayurvestry and how you have trademarked the word. And today Ayurveda is an Indian term. A lot of the ingredients used are local ingredients. So how are you marketing Inde Wild in the international market? What's different? Because if there's anyone here that has a global brand or somebody that's also not selling only in India, what would be a strategy for that?
Globally, I think there's this emancipation of South Asian excellence. I don't know if you guys see it.
Yes.
But it's truly that. It's just owning where we come from and owning this 5,000-year-old science. And like I said, making it modern enough as well. So it is about, yes, I am so proud where I come from. And for so long, there's been Korean beauty and Japanese beauty and these very powerfully cultural beauty industries that it's time to show the world Indian beauty.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. I think that is the USP that the world is looking for now. And we package it in a very modern, clean, everything that a modern brand needs to have. We check those boxes and then some. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about pre-Inde Wild. You being an influencer and a content creator, not living in India, but working with so many Indian brands. A lot of people ask this question. I think it's the most asked question on my Instagram is, how do you go viral on social media? And how do you grow on social media? So since a lot of people have brands of their own, there are fashion designers, in the audience or people that sell a product. Your tips?
I think it's changed over the years, but how to go viral today is to tell a good story. Truly, if you can connect with another human being on that medium, they're going to resonate with that piece of content and share it with family members, share it with friends. So when you're truly, I think, wanting to go viral, think about the story you're trying to tell and tell it in the best way you can.
Yeah, that's so true because the content you put out is key. Okay, so what's been your experience in the influencer world working with Indian brands? I wanna ask you about both sides of it. Being an influencer, dealing with brands and agencies, but also what if the brand is approaching you? Is there anything that they can do to make the process smoother? I think people expect a lot, to be honest. I do see this like, post, do me one story, let me send you a package. It's very irritating. I mean, so maybe some tips.
I think now being on the other side as well, I see it like it's ever evolving, right? The industry is changing constantly. Content creators are evolving. So I think as of now, best practices would be trust the influencer, trust the content creator. Like, I know you want to control the narrative of the brand, but ultimately we know our audience best. So give us a little bit of room to breathe and kind of like, and have a conversation. I think sometimes, if especially you're spending a lot of money or budget, talk to the influencer directly. Like, I love my team and management, I love you guys, but sometimes I think it's Chinese whispers. By the time the message gets to me, it could be a bit different to what the brand wants. So pick up the phone and just call the influencer and talk to them directly and just truly let them, have a two-way conversation. Be like, this is my goal. How do you think we can best achieve this with your audience? And then hopefully it'll be better.
That's great advice. And I know the question I'm going to get after this is, how do I get their numbers? So this is going to be a very tough one. But I agree. I think maybe...
Only if it's a big budget.
That's a great answer. That deserves a round of applause. That's a great answer because I agree. You can't pick up the phone and talk just for a story or can I send you a package. The teams are very efficient for that. And I think that the one point I want to make, and I don't know if you agree with me, is please have a budget. Even if it's to promote your brand, choose the influencers that you want to work with and the content creators before approaching them. Okay, so moving on to talking about your mom. She does inspire you a lot, and I watched a lot of your videos with her, and I loved your Delhi launch with her because I think it was so cute. She was excited, happy, crying, you know, it was just all emotions in one. What's been her contribution to Inde? I love the chumpy oil that she has made with you.
Oh, mom, I could talk about her all day. Mommy, so she, right from the start of Inde, of course, because she's an Ayurvedic doctor and dermatologist, she was in our expert board. We have 5 women in our expert board because I didn't want this to be just another influencer brand. Like, it had to be backed by true expertise.
Yeah.
And so mom obviously was part of that. So she's been part of a lot of the formulations and thinking around those things. But the Chumpy is a very special product because not only was it giving the world her recipe, it was also, you know, for the first time putting our heritage of the Chumpy on a global map.
Yeah.
So it was like this double supernova product, and I think that's why it's performing so well because it just comes from such a pure place. And this recipe of mom's she created when she was 18, and first just out of instinct. It's like her hibiscus is kind of the main ingredient there, but she picked up hibiscus flowers to give to her father, my grandfather, to offer to Ganesh every day for puja. And then when my father would be like, okay, take the old ones away and bring me new ones, she'd be like, what do I do with these? I don't want to throw it away. They're blessed flowers. So she just took it and put it in sesame oil. Fully instinct, like nobody told her what to do. And from there, as her journey continued as an Ayurvedic doctor, she's like, oh wait, maybe I should add Brahmi and Bringaraj, and maybe I should add Amla. And like she studied, so it was life, experience, education, all of it together created this insane oil with 16 extracts and herbs. And mom says this very beautifully, but she says the Champi hair oil is a journey of her life. Because when she went to Delhi, she added like fenugreek and amla. When she went to Chennai, she added and then the last ingredient is rosemary, which she added in Europe because rosemary, potatoes, we put that all the time. So then that was the last ingredient, and that kind of finished the entire oil up. And so we're very proud of it. And mom is definitely the epitome of that oil, completely through and through.
And look at her hair; it literally touches her ankles. So.
I know. Punjabi genes help, but the chump helps with the maintenance.
Okay, so let's talk about the big F word that everyone wants to know about fundraising. You did it pregnant. You did it when you were, becoming a mother. What was the journey getting funds like for you?
First truth is I have never studied finance.
Yeah.
I literally did not know what I was getting myself into. I was very lucky to have my co-founder and husband with me, but he never studied finance either. He was a diplomat. So we were both getting into this world of like, okay, I guess we need to raise money. How do we do this? We learned a lot from talking to other founders. Our very first angel investor is this woman, Rupa Gantra Popat, who I will forever admire and thank her for everything she did. But she basically gave us a crash course on fundraising and introduced us to a lot of people. And then Google did the rest, and YouTube, of course. And so we learned a lot, but I would say I underestimated the process. It's tedious. It is so much. And I'm a social person. I like talking to people, but my battery was empty. There'd be days we're in call after call after call, selling the brand, trying to tell the same story with the same enthusiasm every single day. And you're just like, wow, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah.
So, and mind you, while you're doing that, you can't work on the business because, you're not a robot. You have 24 hours a day. So it was a very tedious process. The first time we spent, I think, 4 months pretty much every day on it. And this time when we closed our seed round, was 6 months. Because from the initial conversation to due diligences to people finally transferring the money in the bank is a process. So just be assured, like, you know what you're getting yourself into, and keep that like space and time. Yeah.
Awesome. So I did mention that I wouldn't let Diipa go without talking about Dua, her sweetest little daughter, whose videos I watch so often. I wanted to ask you how motherhood has changed your perspective as a person, as a business owner, as an influencer, all three.
Motherhood, a few things. I think it's given me a lot more perspective on balance. I say no so much more, and it's so like refreshing.
Yeah.
I think I was the girl who would just say yes to everything. Like just now, fly to LA and then come back, and then quickly fly to India for a day and then come back. Da, da, da. Let's not talk about sustainability behind that. Flying is so bad.
Yeah.
But just in general, I just said yes to everything, and I was like, you know, wanting to be at every place at every moment. And Dua's given me a lot more balance of like what's important, what's not. Secondly, I think to the other topic, sustainability, it makes me want to like leave a better world. And the way I do business, the way I think about the brands I work with, there's always this question of, is this good for people and the planet? And if not, then perhaps not, you know. And same with Inde, we put sustainability at the forefront. You could ask me where any of our ingredients are from, I would tell you. Like, we know the suppliers, how they supply it. Even bakuchiol, the babchi plant, is an endangered plant. So we only get it from the supplier that makes sure he does it in a sustainable way. And for every plant they take out, they plant another one. So founders thinking like that, I think, is what the future needs to be. And Dua definitely catapulted that whole like ignition in me even more.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, seriously fantastic. Okay, so I want to talk about Post for Change, your NGO. If you could share a little bit about what Post for Change does and how you started it.
So Post for Change was our first baby, like before Inde and Dua, that was there. And Oleg and I started it together. It was our way to bridge both our worlds, actually, because he, as a diplomat, worked with UN organizations a lot, UN, UNICEF, UN Women, all of that. And I, as an influencer, obviously had other influencer friends. So Post for Change, in a nutshell, is social media for social change. It's harnessing the power that influencers and social media has, but using that good to amplify messages that organizations for so long have tried to do but don't really understand or have the reach. So our first campaign in 2019, I think it was now, 2019, it was with UNICEF India, and there was this incredible woman in their team who somehow was like, you know what, I'll try you guys, let's do this. And we were like, holy shit, UNICEF. They're like the biggest organization in the world. And then within 2 weeks, we kind of got our first influencer trip going. We went with them to Calcutta, and it garnered 100 million impressions. UNICEF was like jaw dropped.
That's nuts.
We were like jaw dropped. We got a call from the headquarters in New York from UNICEF being like, can we do this globally? And I think what we realized is we had found a bridge between two worlds that needed to be connected. There was a world of amplifying messages, which is influencers, content creators, social media, and the world that is doing good, but don't have the time or the means to amplify the messages in the best way possible for the current youth. And so Indewal became that bridge between two. And since that marriage, it's now been, pandemic years were not so good, but apart from that, it's now been 3.5, 4 years. And this year is going to be a really big year. We're working with, again, UNICEF, but also adding a few more big names that I can't mention yet. But it's going to be a fantastic year. And in a country like ours, there's so much work to be done. Yeah, so we're excited to pull our sleeves up and get to work.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Honestly. So I've asked a lot of questions. I've kind of overgrilled you. My last one for you, and if anyone will take 1 or 2 questions from the audience, is what's been the best and the most trickiest part of your influencer journey? Or your journey as an influencer, a business owner, businesswoman?
Best?
Yeah. What's been the most enjoyable and what's been the trickiest?
Best, I would say, it sounds cliche, but like meeting people like you, it really is. Like, I think the human race and everything we see around us is made because of connections, right? It's meeting people, doing things together that get us somewhere. And so the best part of my industry is how many of incredible people like you have got to meet and connect with, and together put our brains together and create something even better together. So that would be the best. And the trickiest, I would say, younger Deepa would say the trolling.
Yeah.
I'm very thick-skinned now. I don't know. I don't get affected by trolling anymore, luckily. But trolling was very difficult. In the
It's a
beginning.
journey to get
Yeah,
to be not
yeah.
affected. Yeah.
And I think it's also just when you live so much of your life online, where do you draw the line? Like I do not want to share everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes your audience demands you to share everything. So it's a bit like, no, but I'm not ready to share that part of me yet, you know? So that is a little bit of a current struggle of like, even with Dua, I'm like, yes, of course I love sharing her, and she is, you know, also kind of loves the limelight, so it's great. But at some point I do question myself, like her privacy, like should I worry more, like do too many people know her, you know? So those are the questions current Deepa is toying with, and when I get the answer I'll let you know. But I think those are the tricky things. In this
Like, for
industry.
example, when you were pregnant, and I remember for 48 hours, people were just like, have you delivered? Have you delivered?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Are you in labor? Like, that's just so personal.
Yeah, exactly. But
so it's like a 50-50. But I agree with you that it's a journey to get there. When you are trolled, it hurts you initially, and then there's a journey to now be like, I don't care.
Yeah. And also like a choice you made. You chose to be on the platform, and this is gonna happen. This is like the negative side of the coin. So it's more about how do you grow up as a person and like just become thick-skinned and be like, you know, it's almost at one point, my favorite quote is when somebody, a troll or even a real life person says, you are dumb or ugly. I literally hear that as you are a cupboard. And I'm like, yeah, but cool.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like telling a human being you're a cupboard. It's kind of the same level. Like it comes from a sad place. So it's like understanding that and just giving that a spot is what's really helped me.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So any questions? We'll take 2. So if there's anyone, nobody, then I can ask my last one as well. Why is everyone so shy today? Normally we have like... Okay.
How do I balance my life? Yeah. Work in progress. No, it is. I'm still figuring it out, honestly. But and our like no day is the same, so it's a lot of moving parts. But I think prioritizing is a good one. Just knowing for each day what are the 3 things you have to get done, and the rest just it's okay if it gets done. That's how.
I see all the influencers are constantly putting out their content, and they have a lot of pressure and stress. So you know that they only come from that thought process. So I just wonder how you manage your day, your family life, your friends.
Tough one.
I feel like there's constant levels of micro guilt. I feel when I do too much work, I'm like, oh no, I haven't been with my daughter enough, or too much with my daughter. I'm like, oh my God, my husband, or like, oh my God, my mother. So there is this micro guilt, I think, is a red thread through my days these days. But it's also knowing we're all going through it. Like, it's fine. And actually, I do have to give kudos to my team.
Yeah,
I have an incredible team. Dev, Lulu, Tanya, they manage my life to perfection. Well, whatever imperfectly perfect that is. But yes, having a team, I'm very grateful for as well. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, please introduce yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sushni, and like usually I've seen you online, and this is gonna sound like a little late, and it's not a technical question, but like because I've seen you online, I have always thought of her hair, makeup, photos, and like my hair. Has actually like.
Chumpy hair oil, please buy it in the back. Sorry?
It is your hair oil that you have my money.
Thank you. But like I said, it definitely is also the process of doing the chumpy every time. It's like, you know, the scalp massage does invigorate the blood cells. And so it's do the chumpy and use the hair oil together. And of course, genetics always help. Thank you.
Awesome. So my last question for you. Since we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the room, any last words for them? Anything that you did which really helped you? Maybe something which we don't think of, the usual.
I think entrepreneurship, it takes like a different kind of kink in your head. Like it's like if you, like the best entrepreneurs I've ever met are a little crazy. So I feel like if you truly want to be an entrepreneur and be on this journey, it is going to be the most rewarding, but also the most tiring journey of your life. And it's like a roller coaster. There's going to be days you feel like a rock star, and there's going to be days you're like, why am I doing this? So embrace all of it and enjoy the journey. Never look at the goal. Like the goal's fun and it's great to have goals, but if you only look at the goal, when you reach it, you're going to be like, I spent the last 6 years hating my life and now great, I've got my goal. So enjoy the journey truly, and it's going to be a roller coaster. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Deepa. It was lovely chatting with you. I feel like we were just having a chat in the drawing room. So thank you.